Domestic violence numbers are skyrocketing. Advocates and city leaders say it's alarming. Friday, we shared stories of survival. Now, a former offender hopes to warn others how violence can impact their lives and the lives of those they act out against. Tonight, Eleanor Tabone explores ways to reduce rates in part 2 of a story you'll only see here on WWL Louisiana.
Just that little tenth of a second right there cost me everything.
Rooted in New Orleans from birth.
Since prison at age 19, I grew up in the project, in the Magnolia Housing Projects, I'm the middle child of 5 children.
Edgar Burton grew into a man who knew exactly what he wanted.
Had opportunity to go to school and play football and everything.
But somewhere along the way, his journey became derailed by a domestic violence charge.
They arrested me really for simple battery.
Edgar says in 2017, an argument with his ex-wife escalated to violence.
I was in a parish jail for some time.
In a single moment, his life took a drastic turn.
I wasn't thinking for a second, and I made one of the greatest mistakes I've ever could have made.
That very mistake shadowing his every step 7 years on.
For 1/10 of a second, I lost it, and I lost everything as a result of that decision. My ex-wife, the house, the car, the dog, the kitchen sink, everything.
Here in New Orleans, domestic violence numbers are reaching epidemic proportions. This trauma echoes onto our most innocent, our kids.
It's a very damaging conversation that we have with our students through the trauma that they're experiencing at home.
As domestic violence numbers climb, so does the alarming rate of children witnessing violence within the home.
We had to remove the child from the home based on how physical it was and what the child was seeing on a daily basis.
Jamar McNeely with Inspire Nola Charter School says the school system saw a 30% increase in the number of children reporting violence at home compared to 2023.
The kids are really internalizing this and thinking that they're the problem, not understanding that something is wrong with the adult who's actually causing this on a daily basis.
Jamar says children are looking for love, so that internalization is the most troubling because it could lead them down a dark path.
We definitely see the kids coming with anger. We see the kids coming with frustration. We see the kids coming with sorrow that they're the individuals who are experiencing this. They make excuses for what the adults are doing, not actually understanding that it's not okay for this to happen to them to transform their lives.
Jamar says the charter school has an open door policy and does talk about domestic violence and prevention in the classroom.
We not only have inside support as well as external counselors, guidance counselors, social workers.
When children grow up in a home where there is violence, they become at risk for doing and participating in those same kinds of violent activities as adults.
Tulane University Professor of Social Work, Dr. Reggie Parkway works with those convicted of domestic violence and sexual assault. He says 33% of the violent offences in our city are intimate partner violence.
We need more services that specifically address the root causes of intimate partner violence.
When you initially were charged with that, did the city or did people offer you any help to improve yourself?
Nobody never came. And I can say, I didn't reach out neither.
Persons who were offenders of domestic violence, they're not gonna come out and seek help. You have to find them. You have to engage in reach.
And I paid attention to my own actions as I reflect back, and those were some things I seen I needed to change.
Dr. Parkway says the key to curbing this crisis starts at home. He says investing in parenting programs could reduce adverse childhood experiences.
And we have to involve our churches as well. Oftentimes, before a victim or a survivor of domestic violence will go to a professional counselor. They'll confide in their priest or their rabbi or their pastor. And the pastors need to find ways to engage with the professional providers so that they can get the proper help.
Edgar says the stain of his domestic violence charge has cost him job opportunities.
I'm grateful and thankful. I've been home almost 10 years, 9 years, and I thank God for that, and a lot of people, it's like, they look at me different because of this.
He's calling on the city to provide former abusers with mental health services, something he believes New Orleans is lacking. Now in a relationship and a father.
Dealing with women moving forward, it affected me greatly. It affected my choices and decisions, even to materialize into the man who I know I am. We're taking our streets back.
He's launched 3 organisations of his own. He also wants to work with young men, educating them on the devastating outcomes violence can have and could ultimately land them in an orange prison jumpsuit.
Having that place where they can come and discuss those issues and have the opportunity to release mentally, what they need to release, and be free.
Eleanor Tabone, WWL, Louisiana.
The Department of Corrections says it offers rehabilitative programs and encourages inmates to participate, but those are not mandatory unless ordered by the court. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, there is help. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, and you can go to our website, WWLTV.com, for more resources.